Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this webinar showing how Citavi can accelerate your academic writing and go beyond EndNote. I'll introduce myself and my colleague Simon in a second. Before I do that, I just wanted to go over how you can use GoToWebinar. So right now everyone's on mute just for noise control. At any time, you can type in a question in the question area. So the menu with GoToWebinar is at the top. So there's an orange box with a white arrow. If you click on the white arrow, it'll open up the menu and you'll see a couple things. One, there's a question area. So you type in questions anytime you'd like. And we also have a handout. This is just a copy of these slides that you can download. There's a chat, so I did put in the Citavi website for people to go check that out, and Simon might add more chats as we go. And with that, I will introduce both of us. So I'm Stacy Penna. I'm the Product and Community Director here at QSR International for Citavi and NVivo. And then I'll let Simon introduce himself.
Hi everyone, Simon Taylor. I'm Account Director here at QSR, looking after all of our customers in both the UK and Ireland. So typically, any queries at all you might have, I'm the man to fire them to.
Yep, and I just realized I was not sharing my screen, but now I am. So sorry about that.
Oh no, my picture.
So, and I'm going to turn off my webcam just so we can concentrate on the software and the presentation. So first, we do have a poll. We just want to know, just to make sure we're addressing the audience the right way with our presentation, just asking, do you have NVivo? Yes, you have the latest release, which came out in March 2020. Yes, you have NVivo 12. Yes, you have an older version, or no, you don't have NVivo. So I'm just going to do that poll right now. I'll just give people a few seconds to take it. Okay, I'm going close the poll now, and I'll share the results. So it looks like 5% have the newest release, and then that's like and then 52% of you have NVivo 12, and 10% have an older version, and then 33% do not have NVivo. So that's very helpful. Thank you. And I'll close that poll. So with that, because we do have so many people using NVivo, I will show how you can export items from Citavi and import them into NVivo. But I'll also show how you can export just out of Citavi into Word and use it that way too for the people that don't have NVivo. So thank you. So for Citavi, Citavi is really meant to be an all-in-one reference and writing solution. So how Citavi is different from other reference management softwares is it's really going to help you not only manage your references, but help you with the writing process. So I'll be showing you in Citavi how you can search through databases, catalogs, and websites. So if your organization or university has access to ERIC or Scopus or different types of databases with articles and publications, Citavi can help you bring those into the software and start analyzing and working with it. Or if you have your own PDFs, you can do that too, and I'll be showing you that. So it's going to help you search through references and full text, and also help you analyze with them, to help you find those quotes and comments that you really need to use for your literature review or for your writing. And what's really, I think one of the strengths of Citavi, it's going to help you create an outline for your paper, for your dissertation, for your book, for whatever you're writing with. And then, of course, it's going to help you with your citations, and it has hundreds of different citation styles that it can handle. So, it'll have what you need for your citations. So then at the end, it's going to help you with that paper or dissertation or book that you're working on. So that's really in Citavi in a nutshell, showing how it's going to help you. Now, I just wanted to do one more poll just to find out what reference management software you currently use. So I have choices are Citavi, EndNote, Zotero, Mendeley, RefWorks, but because I can only pick 5 choices, if you're using something else, if you could put that in the chat or the question area, we'll see that. Or if you're not using anything, if you can put that in the chat question. So I'm just going to do the poll quickly. And I'll watch that. Okay, so it seems like everyone's using something. So I don't see anyone putting in none or another one in the chat or in the question area. Okay, so I'm going to close the poll and show you the results. So it looks like, well, nobody's using Citavi, so that's probably why you're here, to learn more about it. And then 57% are using EndNote, 22% Mendeley, 9% Zotero, and 13% RefWorks. So it looks like everyone's using something based on this. So thank you for doing that too. That's helpful. And then for those of you who are also use NVivo, I just have this graphic to show how Citavi and NVivo can help with your writing process. So think of Citavi you're using with your secondary sources, so your the articles, resources, all the stuff you're doing with your literature review, and NVivo is your you're going to be able to help analyze your primary sources, so the data you're collecting, your interviews, focus group, images, videos, whatever other data you're collecting for your own research, for qualitative research. In Citavi, it doesn't matter if you're doing qualitative or quantitative. It's just meant to help you with organizing your references and then that writing process. So here, if you can see, you can collect sources with both. I'll be showing you the Citavi picker. You can organize your references and tasks and plan. And then in Vivo, it's all about organizing your data and your coding. For the literature review, I'll show how you can use the knowledge organizer to use as an outline in Citavi, and then within NVivo, it's analyzing your references and data, and you have that the coding structure there. Both can help with note taking. We have annotations in Citavi, and then memos and annotations in NVivo to help you collaborate. So Citavi does have collaboration tools. It is a desktop and a web-based app that you can use. And then NVivo has NVivo Collaboration, Cloud, and Server. And then to help you with writing, I'll show how you can export your work from Citavi into Word, and Citavi has a Word add-in to start building your outline in Word, and then NVivo can always export codes and memos. And then where they sort of mix here is around that literature review part, the note taking and the writing part here. So again, Citavi you're going to be using for your secondary literature, and then NVivo it's going to be more your qualitative primary data you're collecting. So with that, I'll go right into Citavi. I'm just going to close out of the PowerPoint here. And so I'm in Citavi, the desktop, but you can also, the web version is very similar. So if I want to create a new project here, you can see, you can click on new project. Now I have a choice. I can do a cloud project, which is great if I'm working with a team or a colleague, because then we can both access this cloud project and work with it at the same time. I'm just going to go to the local project here and just give it a name. And Citavi open. So right now this is a blank slate. I don't have anything in it, but it's organized into panels to help me organize what I'm reading and highlighting. So first, what I want to do is I just want to import some PDFs that I've saved on my computer. So to do that, I'm just going to go to File and Import. And I'm going to bring in PDFs, but you can see you have these different options here. So one thing is, if you are using other reference management software, you can import your libraries from those other reference management softwares into Citavi, so you're not losing any work you've already done if you want to try Citavi. And I'm going to go to a folder here. that I have, and it's under documents, it's Citavi, and it's this folder. So I have some articles on creativity and boredom, and I'll go next. And yes, I want to bring these 4 articles in, and then Citavi will start bringing them in. Okay, so I'll click on all and add to my project. It will bring in the keywords that are part of the articles too. And you can see now I have all the articles, so I can go between them. And I can start to read them. So I can change my view if I want to make it a little smaller here, or make it easier for me to read the article. So I can start reading this article, and I might want to start highlighting what I think is important. So I'm just going to highlight this, and I can, highlight in yellow or red. I'm just going to highlight it in yellow. But what's really very strong with Citavi, it helps you organize what you think is important to put in your literature review or what you're working on. So I have these other options. I can have this part, and I don't have to code it or highlight it in yellow. I just did that because some people like working that way. But I can go and put this section as a direct quote. I can put it as an indirect quotation. I can have it as a summary, a comment, and I'll talk about tasks in a minute. So I'm just going to create this as an indirect quote. And I can make comments on it. This is important. So maybe I want to paraphrase what that is, and so on. But what's the really strength of Citavi? So I could do that and go through, but I want to start organizing it, thinking about how I'm going to be writing. So if I go up to the knowledge organizer here, this tab, I can start creating categories or my outline. So I'm going to create a new category, and I'm just going, so I'm doing this maybe for a journal article. So I'm just going start creating my categories here. So I might have my lit review. I'm going to have my methods. And my findings. And then I'm going to add my conclusions. Now, I also, under my lit review, I know I'm going to be talking about creativity and boredom, so I want to add subcategories here. Underneath literature review. Oop. But I want to move that over because I don't want a subcategory creativity. So now I have an outline even. And so when I go back to my references, I can also, let's see, I could keep reading them. I'm going to make this larger so it's easy for me to read. So again, I'm going to highlight this part, and I want to create it, let's say, as a direct quote in this case. So it comes in as a direct quote. I can shorten the title of this if I want. And I can now add it to a category. So maybe I want to put it under, in this case, I'll pick methods, click OK. I click on the little green check mark to save it. And then when I go to the knowledge organizers, you can see that that is under a direct quote under the methods, where I put it under my outline. So now I want to go back, and so I can keep building on this, right? So I can go and maybe I want to add one of these images here. So I'm going to click on this image square so I can grab what I want under the image, and I'll create it as an image quotation. And I can give it a description and also category. So in this case, I'm going to put under my findings. And then I can also method. So maybe again, I'm just going to add some of these so that, and this way I can also do indirect quotes. So now I can paraphrase what I want here. So you can see it starts helping you really with that writing process. And I can do the category again. And in this case, I'm going, I'll put under methods again. Now I can also assign myself tasks. So if I go to the reference and I'm going through here and I'm like, I want to make sure all my metadata here is correct. So I could assign a task to myself or a coworker if I'm working as a team. I can say, okay, this has to be done by Friday, click OK. So again, it can help you organize the structure you're doing with your writing. So you can see that's my task and I could add more. Now, I just want to do a few more here just to add more to my outline. So when I export it, you'll see what it looks like. So here's something about boredom. So I'm going to do an indirect quote again. And I'm just going to add it to, oh, okay, I'll have to fix that. Well, I'll add it here and then I'll fix boredom because that did not save it. So I just see people have a question, so I just wanted to see. Okay. And now another great thing about Citavi is I can actually bring items using the picker from a website. So here, if I go to, I'm just in Google Scholar, and I've typed in creativity, and these are articles that are in 2021. And here's one that I want to bring in. And you can see the little Citavi symbol shows up here. So all I have to do is click on the Citavi symbol. You can see it saying, yep, it's on your way to Citavi. So when I open it, it's right there. That's the article that I wanted to bring in, influences, and now it's in Citavi. So I can go, and again, maybe I need to clean up the metadata, but I can now, so brings in, if there's a PDF you can access, it'll bring in the PDF right away with the references. Now, if you have your, like I said, your own library you can use through your university organization, same thing, it will import it and bring in the PDFs as long as you have access to the PDFs. So here, let me just pick, let's pick this to bring in. Do a summary this time. And get into introduction and save it. So that's really how easy Citavi is to use. You can bring in your own PDFs. You can, and I'll just go to references. So you can retrieve by idea, you can ID, import. If there's different reference types you can bring in here. And like I said, you can go to the library that you're using and have access to and bring in articles. So you can see how Citavi can help you, create, let me just want to edit this so I get it out of. And so I can now, I don't have a ton in here, but just to show you how you can actually export this to Word and start working with it in Word, I'm just going to right click and say export category system to Word. So I'm going to give it give it a name. Okay, and then I'll open for me. And you can see it's brought in that outline. But if I go up here to Citavi, the word add-in, it clicks, it gives me a Citavi pane, and I can click on that. And I'm going to pick this project because that's what I was working in. And now it shows me the references here, the knowledge items I have that I might want to bring in, the citations too. Whoops, I should have the citation. Let's see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, under introduction, I just want to put this here because I want to have it come under here, and I'll double click on it. And that's all I type, but you can see it brings in the citation style too. Now this is just the citation style by default, but and like there's hundreds of different citation styles you can use in NVivo. But if I wanted to change it to APA, I can do that, and it will change it. And then you can see it's also starting to create references for me too as I bring these items in. So let's say I want to go to boredom. And I'll just double click on that. Now there is, and that's all I type, so that's why it's coming in. So let me go into methods. I had a direct quote, so you'll see when it's something larger what I did. And so you can see that was the direct quote, or I had come in. Now you could do this all at once too. I'm just doing it one at a time. And so on. So, and then at the same time, as I'm bringing these in, it's building my references for me. So as you can see why this is a great writing tool, it allows you to do the work in Citavi, organize it into your outline, and then just bring in what you have so that then you can build on what you did in Citavi into your draft, basically in Word. And I didn't do this, but you could also just right click and have it insert, bring in everything all at once too. I just did it one at a time. All right, so that's really, if you're not using NVivo, that's how easy it is to use Citavi and get started with it. I'm just going to go back to Citavi, and in this case, I want to export these articles from Citavi so I can bring them into NVivo. So I'm going to go up to File and go to Export. And I do want to bring in all 5 references. And you can see I have a choice. I can export to NVivo and save text file. So I want to save it as, oops. Oh no, sorry, browse. And I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to put it actually in my desktop. To save. Next, and it's been exported. So now I'll go into NVivo. And so those of you who maybe aren't familiar with NVivo, NVivo is used for qualitative data analysis. It helps you manage and analyze your data, like interviews, focus groups, really anything that's unstructured, and helps you create, organize the files, and then also helps you with your coding. So in this case, in NVivo, I'm going to create a folder. And I'm going to call it Lit review, just so I know it's separate from my own data. And I'm having a hard time with spelling, so let me just go and make sure that's spelled right. Okay. And now I can import the project, Citavi project, into NVivo. So I'm going to go to import, and you can see bibliography here. So I'll pick Citavi, and I'm going, I called it Citavi 2, so I'm going to import that. And I like to have it come in with author and name, not by title. I find it's easier to organize, and I want to select the folder. I want to bring it in under my lit review, so it's organized, and I'm going to import. And so what NVivo's done, it's brought in all those articles I had in Citavi, but it's also done a couple other things. So if I go to references here, it also brought in all that metadata that was associated with the articles. So what's nice about this, you can in NVivo then say, after you've done some coding in the articles, you can say, well, I want to see, in this year, did people mention things differently in this year when it was published, or, did different authors say different things? So that can be helpful. And it also, when it comes in, brings in the notes and the abstracts in a memo, because sometimes people like to go through and maybe do a search through the abstracts, which you can do in NVivo. It brought in the keywords and then any notes about the article. So now with NVivo, I can do more analysis. So Citavi helped me organize it. I put it in a format I could create an outline for, but now I want to do a little bit more with a literature review. So what I'll do is I'll do some high-end queries here. So one is I can do, for example, word frequency on my literature. So in this case, I'll select the folder, though I only have one folder in here. So pick lit review. I can do matches, stem words, synonyms for the word frequency, and then I'll run this. So it's showing me the top words in my journal articles. I can always get rid of one if I want. Maybe I don't want this so I can add it to stop word list. The, and those type of words are already a part of the stop word list. I can create a word cloud based on these words. So this is a way to sort of play and see what's in your literature review and your sources. And so the word cloud, the larger the word, the more often it's used. So let's see, I want to see, what did they say about creativity? So one way I can do that is I can click on the word and then run text search right from creativity. And it's showing me all the sources that mention creativity. But I also have another visual people find helpful called a word tree. And so this is showing me the 5 words before and after creativity. So maybe there's something that catches my interest here. Creative have in creative individuals, research journal. So yeah, let's see, creative individuals. Let's see what they said there. So let's do another run a text search there. And now it's going to give me what they actually said, though right now it's just the 5 words before or after creativity in individuals. So if I want, I can expand that, what we call coding or tagging, to broad context and run the query again. And now I can see the whole context around those words. Now with NVivo, what's nice is, since the software just did a lot of work for me, I can actually save these results as a code. So this is a way to keep all this in one place in NVivo. So select, I want to put under codes, and I'll give it a name. I could give it a description, and then it's going to create a code for me here. And then the codes sit here, so you can see it's right there. But I could also go right and do a text search from here. So I could go to Explorer and do a text search. So maybe I want to find where everyone said creative. Maybe I'll do synonyms too, and then run query. So again, it gives me all the sources that mention creativity, and then it's also giving me the references. So what was said about creativity, and again, I tend to do the broad context because I want to get what they actually said around creativity. And again, I could save this as a code too. So this is how people start, you start using and be able to help them with their literature review too. I actually used NVivo with my dissertation, and I found it really helpful for the literature review process. One reason is I had what the experts said, and then when I was creating my own or analyzing my own data I collected, I had everything right next to each other. So when I went to write about my findings, I could combine those codes based on my own data analysis and what the sources of experts said about my topic. Now another, just want to show this to you. You can also, so if I pick all these articles, I can also auto code. So I can auto code by theme or sentiment. Also, you can do existing coding patterns. That's if you've coded about 15% of your own work. NVivo will understand how you're coding and then find patterns for you with that. So I'm going to identifying themes, go next. So it's going to go through the articles for me. I tend to do auto coding like at the beginning of a project just to see what was the software scene in my data, just to see is there somewhere where I might want to start, and then at the end, just to see if did I reach saturation, or did sometimes when you do this at the end, the software shows you something maybe you didn't think about. So it doesn't replace your own analysis, it just helps you. So you can see here I have a top code and then subcodes underneath it. I'm going to go next, and I'm going code by sentences, but you could also do it by paragraphs. And it is going to save it in a separate folder, which I like because I don't want to bring these codes into my own coding. I might bring some of them, but I don't want to do it at the beginning. So you can see here I have a top node and the subcodes, and if I click here, it just gives me a different visual. And then we also have, I like this table, is showing me all the different articles and then what's standing out. So a lot of them do talk about boredom, which makes sense because that was the topic. Creative, experience. I can double click on any of these cells to actually get to what they said about experience, to those references. You can export this if you want to a spreadsheet, and so on. But then it's where it's put the codes here. If I open up codes, it puts it in a special folder there. So again, I might want to go through here and say, okay, at top level, this is what the key things are they're talking about with boredom. So I have a bunch of ways to sort of go through besides just if I go to lit review. I mean, I can also, I just showed you how you can maybe jumpstart looking at the literature, but I can also obviously code on these articles too. So if I want to talk about procedures here, I can highlight it, right click, code selection, and I'm going top, and I'd call it and I'll code that selection. So when I go to codes, you'll see it listed there. So you can see then you can code here on this also. Another way to sort of look across your data in NVivo, if I go to Explore, I can create, for example, I can do a matrix coding query, but also I'm going to show you a crosstab. I'm going to see what happens here if I do this. So I'm going to bring in some of that auto codes I did. I'm going to bring in boredom and creative. And I'm going to ask it to do the year of publication. So let's see, I haven't done this. Let's see what, so this is files coded. I could do coding references. So this is showing me, was there a difference per year with publications? Might be a reason for that just because that's the ones you pick, but it's just a way to sort of look at your data in a different way. So you can pick any of these that came in with the metadata. Now, again, I can also use that tool that was in Citavi, the word add-in. So let me go to codes here, my auto-coded. And so boredom, I'm going to export this code. So I'm going to export code, and I'm going to have it as a Word document. Open on export, click OK. And so here is my coding, but I can use the Citavi pane here, which I already have, and I'll use, so this is the project I was in. So this is another way you can integrate what you're doing with NVivo here. So if you know this section has something to do with your introduction, I can click on that. Yeah, that's all I wrote, but you can see it comes in, or maybe I would have put it under there, and then it starts building that reference bibliography too. So I'll switch to APA again. Same thing. So I can start, maybe I want to bring a direct quote I had in Citavi in here, I can, and then it has that the references. So now we are working on more integrations with Citavi and NVivo, so stay tuned. I can't go into those right now, but you can see how powerful the tool Citavi is, and then when you also use it with NVivo, it just becomes more powerful with your qualitative data. So I'm just going to go back to the PowerPoint now and show you a few more slides. Well, and then if you have any questions, please let us know. So this is just what I showed you in Citavi and NVivo, just so have that. Now we do have upcoming scholarly writing series. So we have 2 left, and they're on dissertation and thesis writing. So feel free to register. The links do work in the PDF handout that we have. We also have writing groups. So these 2 researchers, Maria and Rich, are running writing groups. So Maria's is more structured. She talks for 15 minutes about writing processes. Rich is more just open. You have a question about writing, how can I help you? And they're both great. So again, this is a link to go to those and register. They're free and anyone's welcome. And then we have our webinar series on analyzing qualitative research after the interview. So we have one on arts-based research with Johnny Saldana, Kakali, and a few other researchers coming up in April. And we have the Citavi community. So if you want to find a place to connect with people about reference management with Citavi or just writing in general, feel free to join. And we want to make sure that you can try a Citavi. So if you click here, there was a link in the chat too to the Citavi website. We have a free 30-day trial, and then learn more. There are great resources on the website, great short videos on how to get started with Citavi. And then purchasing options. So I think, Simon, I don't know if you want to talk more about these.
Yeah, thanks, Stacey. So as I mentioned at the beginning, everyone, I'm account director here at QSR, looking after all of our customers in both the UK and Ireland. And there's actually a couple of quick commercial things I want to cover off. There is a key point I want to make about our acquisition of Citavi in the first place. We bought them because they had what we considered to be far and away the best reference and citation management solution available anywhere in the world. They totally dominate the German-speaking market, and we knew that we had the global reach to take that message to the rest of the world. What I hope Stacey's demonstration and presentation has shown is just how clear that leadership is, and particularly how much further it goes in terms of helping with the actual creation of academic writing. I do want to add that Citavi works brilliantly with or without NVivo. If you don't need NVivo, you can still use Citavi. If you don't need Citavi, you can still use NVivo. And if you've got a need for both, as Stacey showed earlier, then they work together really well. And again, as Stacey highlighted, we'll be continuing to build out more and more integrations as time goes by. So hopefully, Stacey's presentation means that you now want to buy Citavi. So to quickly cover off the options open to you, you can buy single licenses, student licenses if you're students, or full licenses if not. You can buy Citavi for the desktop or web. All of the prices and buying process and everything are really easily obtainable from the website. I tend to just go to citavi.com as the get to the right page quickly, but there's a more precise link there. If you are a university, which most but not all of you are, then you've got a further option, which is to buy a chest agreement for Citavi, which gives you a site license agreement at an incredible price point. If you know what a chest agreement is already, then you probably also already know the right people to speak to, and at least 2 of them are on this call as well. If you don't know what a chest agreement is, but would like to encourage your university to look at it, then I guarantee someone in your central IT services knows all about it and can help. I'm happy to make those connections for you, though, if needed. And we've got contact details and stuff at the end, and I'll stick them in the chat. I'll hand you back to Stacey now, but if you do have any further need to discuss the commercial side of Citavi, then please get in touch.
Great, thanks, Simon. Yeah, I just want to echo, I'm using it now with the work I'm doing, and I really enjoy using Citavi. It's really easy to get started, so I can vouch for that. And so we just showed you and talked about 2 of our products, in Vivo and Citavi, but we also have Sonia, which is student placement software. So if you have nursing students, teachers, future teachers, anyone doing clinical work that's going outside the university in a placement to learn their craft, Sonia just helps you organize that. So again, if anyone's interested in learning more about that, let us know. But happy to take questions now. Yes, we'll send the recording to everyone after. It takes us a few days to organize it, but we'll send you the recording. Any other questions? Or if you have questions later, you have Simon's email, so don't hesitate, and my email's in the handout too.
Absolutely. Has everything made sense to everybody? Some kind of sense of that would be useful. Feel free to put it in the chat or the questions section if you want. If there's anything that's unclear, please let us know.
Yeah, and there'll be a short survey at the end too that will, you can give us feedback, which is great. Okay, yeah, I think Simon, don't we has any questions about the software? Maybe they just need time to check it out. Yeah. And we can do these kind of presentations though to your organization or department, if you want to share what Citavi can do, and also with Citavi and Vivo together, just let Simon know and we can schedule something. Great. Well, thank you, everyone.
Stacey, did you say there was a poll at the end as well?
No, it's a survey. So they'll get the survey once I end the presentation. So
thanks, everyone. I think you did too good a job, Stacey. You answered all the questions before people could ask.
Well, also sometimes I think it takes, when something's new, people have to think about it. Yeah,
absolutely.
But, all right. Thank you, Simon. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks all. Have a great day. Bye-bye.